weekend, it's a tough test at Brighton at the Amex. Let's hear from Mikel Arteta.
Arteta, I know the Arsenal players, and I think they play a fantastic football. But I have to think only in my team. I think we are improving, and we have to stay focused about this improvement. No.
They are a really good team. They are playing at a really high level. A team that that dominates almost every phase of play that is relevant to dominate a football match. A team that has a lot of confidence and play with a lot of personality. I know the coach really well. He's someone that I follow for a period now, and they're doing really well.
High praise from Mikel Arteta for Brighton and Hove Albion, who have returned from the World Cup break with a World Cup winner in their squad, albeit he didn't play in the Southampton game. I haven't mentioned him at all, have I, Alexis McAllister?
Brighton are going to lose easily tomorrow.
Do you think?
No, I'm joking, of course.
Do you think?
I'm just saying that for you.
You know what? Brighton have actually got a really good record against Arsenal. The last time Arsenal lost in the league at home was against Brighton, and Brighton do seem to perform well against the teams in the top half of the table. Can you see them causing a bit of an upset?
Yeah, absolutely. Brighton are a really strong team. I mean, Brighton are, if you're coming up from the Championship or if you're a team new to the Premier League, Brighton are absolutely everything you want your team to be. They've grown and grown and grown. They play brilliant football that's great to watch. They took the brave decision to change sort of not the best football not so long ago under Chris Hughton, but now they've just right the way from top to bottom. Their recruitment is second to none. I just think they're a special club. I think I love the Brighton story, and yeah, Arsenal are in for a tough game. Two teams clashing right at the top of their game. I mean, I don't think Brighton have ever been as good as this, and I don't think Arsenal haven't been as good as this for 15 plus years. So this is a fascinating game. Could go either way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it'd be much of a shock if Brighton got a result. I see where you are in league positions, but both teams are playing really well. Brighton had a great victory the other day when they beat Southampton, beat them comfortably. So it wouldn't be a huge shock. But yeah, I reiterate everything that Michael said. Brilliant to watch Brighton. They play the right style of football now. The new coach they've inherited seems to be a real character, which is great to see. It's always a difficult place to go and get a result. So it's that would be one game to watch, actually, and it'd be a big test for Arsenal as well.
Well, Brighton, under the new manager, have kind of picked up from where they left off, because I think there were a few concerns after Graham Potter left because of getting the highest ever finished with Brighton in the Premier League last year and starting this campaign so well. But the football under Roberto De Zerbi has been even more fluid and even more attacking than maybe a lot of the fans were expecting. Can Brighton fans dream of an even higher finish this season, Michael?
Well, that's the beauty.
Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy.
I'll take 7.
Well, you answer the question.
What do you think? What do you think? That's the main thing.
When he's got Solly March scoring goals like that, I mean, he's not really done that before. He seems to be improving players as well.
Yep.
The beauty with Brighton is it feels like now they've got a culture at the club, a way of playing. And when Graham Potter leaves, when De Zerbi leaves in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they don't just bring in a manager now and say, right, you go and do what you want, go and play how you want and buy who you want. They fit the criteria. This is how we're playing from top to bottom. The whole club is going to play like this now. And they bring in a coach that is going to coach the team to do exactly that. The different departments will buy the players, etc., with the manager's help, of course. But it's a little bit like the foreign model, I think. When you look at I think the English have probably been a little bit later to the party, haven't we? We used to have the managers doing the scouting, doing the contracts, picking the team, basically running the whole club from top to bottom. But now I think we're taking the more foreign concept, and now I think virtually everyone is hiring to suit the club, as opposed the other way. Let's just find the next best manager, and whatever style he's good at, that's the new way we're going to play. Brighton are just a footballing club now, and whoever comes in, it's just a seamless transition, because that's what they're
recruiting. And it seems to suit the players, and the Solly Marches, as you mentioned, the Trossards, the Pascal Grosses, who've been there for a number of years. Last year and this year, they seem to be playing their best football ever. So that's always a really good sign as well.
Great, isn't it?
Isn't it brilliant?
Just wonderful.
Isn't it fantastic?
So will Arsenal see this as a potential banana skin? Or, as Michael pointed out earlier on, they seem to be playing with so much confidence themselves.
They're top of the league with 40
They don't want to throw this away, do they?
They'll roll down there and expect to win, and rightly so. Look at their stats. That's not a team who feel as if they're going to struggle. What you would say is that it's a very difficult game. We know, we've been down there a number of times to watch games. It's a difficult game for Arsenal. But it shows what they're like, and it's another really good test for them. Are they mentally strong? Can they go to Brighton and, pull in another performance? Because you expect City to win at home. Can Arsenal go back down there and win again? Or will that 5-point gap be 2 points? You never ever know.
Well, the questions in the last match for Arsenal were all about how they would cope without Gabriel Jesus after he suffered that injury at the World Cup. Well, Eddie Nketiah stepped up and he answered those questions. He scored a wonderful goal in the game, and obviously they scored 3 goals in total and came from behind to win against West Ham. Yeah,
they did. Of course, they went 1-0 behind, but at all times they looked in control of this game. Got a bit of fortune there with a shot that ended up being a great pass, but nobody can begrudge Arsenal their victory. They were very, very dominant throughout. And as you mentioned, Nketiah, it was great for him. The pressure was on him. I thought this was a great goal.
Turn, yeah.
Yeah, he feels his man. He rolls him. He knows exactly where he is. And then he doesn't just lash at it. He places it into the corner. He's a proper goal scorer. I love it. When he's in front of goal, you're just confident that he's going to score. Now, he's not going to give as much away from just scoring goals than Jesus does. I mean, outside the box, Jesus is a brilliant player. But Nketiah, give him half a chance and you always fancy him. How important has Martin Odegaard been to Arsenal in everything they do going forward? The assists that he's popping up with now and the goals he's scoring and providing for the club as well. Have you been impressed with him?
Very, very much so. I mean, he went, of course, we know his story about, I was highly coveted when he was young, went to Madrid, didn't really play, went on loan a couple of times, but he found a spiritual home, hasn't he, at Arsenal? They play the way he wants to play, which is important. He's not a big physical player. He wants to get the ball down. He wants to create. He's done that. He's been given the captain's armband at times, so that's given him extra responsibility. So incredibly important for the team. They just have to keep on rolling on. The link with other players in the transfer market, you can see why, because they're in such a dominant position. Why not go and spend some more and, really get that position of the Champions League next year? So great times for Mikel Arteta and his boys.
OK, they're going to take...
Look at that. Some of the numbers that you tried to calculate, in terms of his goals come the end of the season, he keeps this going, eye-watering. I mean, no one's ever seen them before in the Premier League. Can he keep it going? I think he can. That's the scary thing. I think he can. And as you say, he's refreshed from a bit of a break. He's, in fact, probably hungrier after that break, seeing so many great players on a world stage and him not being there.
I think he said that in his post-match interview, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And just before the break, Brentford went to the Etihad and won. So there's no... Just before the break, Brentford went to the Etihad and won. So there's no question. Frank Lampard's team talk in his pre-match, all his stuff will be showing how Brentford beat them. So there is a possibility there, but the way Everton are playing at the moment, lacking confidence, hardly scoring goals, and going to Manchester City, good luck.
Well, as Michael says, they can be beaten. They aren't invincible, but how much of beating Man City...
It has to be, doesn't it? It has to be. You keep them quiet, you've got half a chance straight away. It has to be, doesn't it? It has to be. You keep them quiet, you've got half a chance straight away. It'd be interesting to see what team Pep puts out, whether he goes with Erling Haaland or whether he tries other people, because there's a lot of games coming up, whether he feels it's an easier game because they're at home. But he's in the right team, a team that's got bundles of goals, a team that win the league constantly, or a team that are challenging for trophies. So he's in the right team to score these goals. And with De Bruyne, and it was Grealish the other day, he's got the people to supply him. He just needs to finish them off, which, of course, he'll do in abundance. But it's up to Frank to go out there with a master plan and try and shut them down. As I said, not every team will play well every single game. And it's one time where they're just off it a little bit. That's when you have to capitalise. Brentford did it. Can Everton do it?
Well, Man City can't afford to slip up because in terms of the title race, they're 5 points behind Arsenal. And they know that every single point matters right now. Can you see them catching Arsenal, or do you think Arsenal are going to win it?
No, well, they're certainly capable of catching Arsenal. Arsenal look like a different animal themselves this season. And again, we spoke about a team like Manchester United getting better and better. Arsenal have got better hand over fist, and they look the real deal. Whenever I watch Arsenal, I'm blown away, not just by their results, but their football is stunning to watch. They're fast, they're aggressive, they look in control of every game. So they're not going to be an easy team to catch. So again, Manchester City can't be slipping up. Certainly to teams like Everton when they're playing on the home patch. So big game for Manchester City. As Marcus says, games coming thick and fast, and they can't give any more rope to Arsenal.
Title race going to go right down to the wire?
I hope so. As neutrals, you want.
Title race going to go right down to the wire?
I hope so. As neutrals, you want it to go down to the wire like it did last year. It was full of excitement on the last game of the season. The twist either way, Liverpool and Manchester City. You want it to go as far as possible, just to keep it interesting. Arsenal are doing great, aren't they? And the fact that they've got to January, got to the transfer window to a certain extent, top of the league, flying. You know, if they've got anything about them, they may invest again, or they should give Mikel Arteta money to bring in a few more players, because they're there now. Yeah. They'll get into Champions League, and an epic failure will see them miss out on the Champions League. So they should be there. So they should have more finances coming along the line. But it's whether they go again now and take a chance to really shore it up. But huge impressed with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta's side. They look really, really resilient, which is something that we haven't said about Arsenal over the last 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, for Manchester City, though, they're obviously chasing Arsenal at the top. How different psychologically will that be for the players in the dressing room? Because they're quite often at this point of the season at the top being chased.
Yeah, but they're so experienced. I mean, they went head-to-head with Liverpool not so long ago, you know, when pressure was at its absolute max. They've chased, they've been chased, they've been there, they've seen it, they've done it. I wouldn't worry at all about what's going on through Manchester City players' heads at the moment. I think the other thing we've just got to be careful about as well is because we're approaching the new year, we're thinking, oh, we're halfway, it's the run-in now. But with this World Cup being, we're still not even halfway. There's still a long, long way to go. And other teams, as much as it looks like a two-horse race at the moment, there's other teams that might put in a great run and start making it a 3 or a 4-horse race. So we'll see, but certainly the last thing I'm doing is questioning Manchester City's ability to chase or be chased. They've seen it and done it before.